Hello everyone, welcome. Today I'm going to talk about a book that I really like. I had the pleasure to be one of the people that made part of the launch team for the book. So I have the book a few weeks ago, so I could read it and review it before it came out. So it just came out today. It's one of the most amazing books. Sorry, I had a problem with the tablet. One of the most amazing books I've read in the last few months, and it's a book that I really think that is on my top of all books I've read. So the book I'm telling you about is Voodoo Child by Thomas Gloom. As I said, it came out today, so go check it. I'll put the links down below. And this one, sorry for reflection. This one is a story about a young guy in high school. His best friend leaves town, is feeling completely alone, and he starts getting bullied by some members of the football team. And one day he's running away from those kids, and in the woods he finds a voodoo shop near an old commercial zone near the river. He finds a voodoo shop and an old voodoo lady that helps him dealing with the bullies with, no surprises, a voodoo curse. And at first everything starts going well until it doesn't. And I don't want to tell you more about the story because I think it's one of those stories that you should really read, and that it's really surprising as it goes forward. So, what I can tell you about is that for me, I'm kind of a sucker for, let's say, coming of age tales. One of my favorite books is Something Wicked This Way Comes. It's right over here by Ray Bradbury. If you don't know the story, I can talk to you about that one day. I love all those kinds of books that talk about young kids dealing with adversity and overcoming it, and everything that gets people to evolve and to find something different and something that is, I don't want to say special, but special about them, what makes them unique, and what makes them them. And Voodoo Child, I know I'm capable of picking up this and the image being in the correct place. Voodoo Child is one of those books. The kid is not that young as, for example, the kids in Something Wicked This Way Comes, but the feeling is there. It's a young kid dealing with trouble and overcoming it, and overcoming his first solution to the problem. And I think that was what made me like the book so much. And of course, the voodoo part, it's really interesting. It's not a culture or let's say system of belief that I am so familiar with, and I think that Thomas Gloom really did a great job presenting it to us, and you feel like you come out of it understanding not what voodoo is, but how it works and how the main points of the system of belief works. And most of all, it's just that, it's the belief. The main character, Finn, at the beginning, he doesn't believe in it. And it doesn't much care for the curse he made. And as time goes on, he starts believing. And as he starts believing in something else, he starts believing in himself. And for me, that was the part that I most felt that connected with me. Maybe other people don't think that, and maybe Thomas Gloom will say that, no, I never thought of that way, but for me, that was what I felt. And once again, I'm really glad that I had the chance to read this and to be talking of it today. I'm going to do one thing that I'm not really sure I can pull it off, but I will read a part of the book. Just let me look for it. I hope I do it justice. I've heard Thomas read parts of it, and I won't be as good as him, but if you want to hear him, as I said, look for the links down below. So, this is a part from chapter 3, and I don't think I will reveal that much. Sorry. Finn realized that it was now or never. It was either try and make a getaway or accept his fate. He grabbed Daniel's wrist and tried to twist it, but the quarterback was too strong. "Really?" Daniel said. He slammed Finn into the truck, causing an audible crash. Daniel looked around, gauging whether it garnered any unwanted attention with the noise. Finn made his move. With all the force he could muster, he stomped down on Daniel's left foot. Once the quarterback took a step back, Finn swung his backpack, heavy with textbooks, as hard as he could toward Daniel's head. Daniel tried to block the blow with his arms, but was still knocked to the pavement by the force of the swing. Finn gripped the backpack to his chest and took off running as fast as he could towards the woods. He didn't look back to see if Daniel got back up, and he didn't check to see if the other 3 guys noticed the scuffle. Escape was the only thing on his mind. Once in the woods, he jumped and jived in between the trees, both fallen and standing. If he wasn't so terrified, he might have laughed at his abilities, which might actually be comparable to the football players he was running from. "Keep on running," Daniel yelled. "We'll catch you up once you tire out." Finn risked a backward glance. All 4 of them were on his trail. It put a good bit of distance between himself and them, but Daniel was right. He didn't have the stamina to keep this up for too long. His backpack was weighing him down, but he knew if he dropped it, he might never see it again. Or worse, he'd show up at school the next day and find it strung up somewhere in the halls, adding to his embarrassment. Based on the geography of the area, Finn thought he knew where the woods would lead. About a quarter mile in the direction he was headed was a small strip of old run-down shops that reminded him of a vintage downtown area. He would be there soon, if he could keep this pace. He didn't know what he'd do once he made it there, but he could figure that out once he arrived. There was no guarantee that he'd even made it out of the woods before they caught him. He could hear the bullies crashing through the underbrush under him, and they clambered closer with each passing minute. Up ahead, He could see the end of the wooded area. He was drenched in sweat, his legs ached, and his lungs felt as if they might burst, but he kept going. Almost there, he told himself. Chancing one more glance behind, Finn saw that his pursuers were within 100 feet or so. He ran out of the woods, crossed the pothole-covered street, and darted down an alley between two brick buildings. His pace was slowing by the time he came out of the other side of the alley and turned left, heading up the street. In order to escape, he really needed to duck into one of the storefronts, but they all looked closed. "My dear child," a woman's voice called. "You look like you could use a place to lay low." Finn hadn't even noticed the old black woman leaning against the brick wall of a storefront. She held a cigarette in her hand and was clothed in mostly black, apart from a purple shawl draped on over her shoulders. A head wrap of the same color sat atop her head. "Stepped inside." In another situation, Finn would have refused the offer from a person he didn't know, but he was desperate. "Thank you," he gasped. The sign on the storefront of the shop read, "Mama Capatla's House of Voodoo." So this is the part I told you about where Finn is running from the bullies and he gets to the voodoo shop. And for me, it was really... Sorry, for me, it's like that. It's the discovery. It's the suspense. It's the what is going to happen now. I have to say that I was surprised in this book in two parts, because in a way you are at the beginning, you are always in doubt about the voodoo lady, Mama Capatla, and you are always in doubt of everything that's happening, if what's true or not. So in a way, you don't really know what to believe. It's true, like Finn. And for me, it's what makes magic. It's what makes you feel that you are reading something that is magical, because you are in there. You are living that. And it's amazing. So once again, I want to thank Thomas for letting me read this, and I hope I made the book justice. So if you have the chance, there is both digital version and physical version of the book. You can find it everywhere, I think, or at least on Amazon, and go look for it. It's amazing. Thank you, and see you on the next video.